I read something that just blew me away. But the more I read, the more I thought about it, it actually made some sense. Bucky Brooks, our good friend of the show, he's one of our FS1 NFL analysts. He wrote a column on NFL.com. You need to remember, he's a former player and front office person.
Doesn't mean that you can't be wrong.
I'm just saying. He said that Aaron Rodgers is overrated. In fact, he said he's so overrated that he is not even in Bucky's top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. He had Patrick Mahomes. He had Phillip Rivers, number 2. Drew Brees, number 3. Tom Brady, your nemesis, number 4. And Russell Wilson, number 5. Now, I'm going to let you respond before I weigh in with the knowledge. But go ahead.
What you talking about? Like I don't have knowledge? What you trying to say? Hey,
I'm just saying.
I think you got too much. I think you got too much sunshine down in Virginia Beach. You all right?
You love Aaron Rodgers. I'd be shocked if anything critical came out of your mouth about Aaron Rodgers.
All I'm going to say is, no, he's not perfect, but Bucky Brooks could not be more wrong, and this is one of those times. And Bucky Brooks, yes, he played football, you get all that. You could put out your list and come up with whatever you want. You could say that he's been down and he hasn't played well and he's been injured, and I'll give you all of that stuff. But to say a guy who has several career passing records in the history of the league, who has the lowest single season and career interception rate, who also has the best quarterback rating in the history of the National Football League, not the last 10 years, anybody who's ever played quarterback, he has the highest quarterback rating of anybody. To tell me that guy's overrated is the most ridiculous thing that Bucky Brooks could have ever put out. It doesn't make any sense. The guy won 2 MVPs, not one. He didn't fluke into one. He has 7 Pro Bowls, first-time All-Pro team twice. I can go on and on. Here are his records, Chris. 103.1 passer rating, career best. 122.5 passer rating in a season. That's a record, 2011. 4.23 touchdowns to every interception. That's a career record. 1.5, the lowest interception percentage. Career. 0.3, lowest interception percentage in a season. That was 2018. 402 consecutive passes without an interception. Those are all of his records. He has 8 NFL records. How could he be overrated? If you want to say that he's slipping and he's not as good as he once was, but to say a guy was overrated when I just read you 8 records and the all-time leading quarterback rating in the history of the National Football League, Bucky Brooks, you're crazy. You're Meshuggah. You don't know what you're talking about when it comes to football. And I'm talking about as a quarterback. Right, okay. No, you don't. Because none of that makes sense to say he's overrated. Stop it.
Look, I'm with you in that Aaron Rodgers. I don't know how in the world you leave him out of your top 5 quarterbacks in the league. He's better than Russell Wilson, period. That's not even debatable. All right. Now, other ones, if you want to debate, but he's definitely a top 5 quarterback. But here's where I think Bucky makes a good point. We talk about Aaron Rodgers in these historic ways. He's become this mythical figure. Time and time again, you hear people say, the best I've ever seen throw the football, the best I've ever seen play the position. Nobody calls him the GOAT because we factor in Super Bowls with that and we say it's Tom Brady or Joe Montana. But people talk about him religiously as the best they've ever seen do it. And Bucky makes a good point, Rob, that here's the fact. Since midway through the 2015 season, Aaron Rodgers is a 500 quarterback.
But Chris, that is
24, and 1.
But
his completion, hold on, let me finish. I'll let you throw out all your numbers. Most of them were from years ago. And
I just gave you from 2018. Did I hear you?
His interception rate is because he throws the ball away so much.
No, that's not
because he throws it out of bounds so much.
So you should throw it in the coverage when somebody's double covered? Is that what you should do? You should
just other quarterbacks.
No,
that's
like
Franco
smart.
Harris used to run out of bounds
smart.
all the time.
And Franco Harris still has his marbles and he can walk. Don't tell me Franco Harris was dumb.
Look, here's the thing. He is a 62.7% completion rate since that midway through the 2015 season, and a 96.4 passer rating. You talked about his all-time career high passer rating. 3 of the last 4 years, he's been under 98% as far as a passer rating, or under 98. So he is slipping. Like, I'm not ready to go as far as Bucky, but he needs to have a big-time year. You and I both, I believe you were with me, but I certainly picked him to be the MVP last season.
Right before
and
he got hurt.
didn't get it done. And I think there are some similarities to a LeBron James, although obviously LeBron's won more. But Aaron, like I've always talked about how LeBron becomes the system for his team, which can hurt them sometimes.
Yeah, but I think
Aaron Rodgers scrambles and ad-libs and doesn't want to make the easy little throw. And he needs to now you got Matt LaFleur, who's got a system that'll be easier for you. But we've seen little hints that maybe Rodgers is pushing back. He wants to continue to ad-lib. He wants to do it his way. He wants to make the hard pass rather than just the easy pass to the running back. And I'm just saying those things, when you talk about Rodgers in historic terms, the best we've ever seen, maybe that is a little bit overrated. Why hasn't he won more if he's the best we've ever seen?
Because you can't, as a quarterback, there's other things that are involved in it, like defense. And you know this, Chris. And this is what Bucky Brooks knows. That defense has given up 40 or more points in 3 years in the playoffs. Aaron Rodgers could put up 40 points and lose because the defense has been that bad. And I'm not making an excuse, but you can't just ignore it. And the years that he's been there, in Green Bay, they've won the division that they're in like 8 times. I mean,
that's not what it's all about. You'll be the first to say it doesn't matter. It's about Super Bowls.
No, Chris, you got to be fair from the standpoint to say that the reason that they've lost is because Aaron Rodgers improvises. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just
that
saying
can't be it.
I'm
that
saying
can't
no,
be
I'm
it.
not. I agree with you on the defense. But I'm saying the fact is we talk about this guy as essentially the GOAT. You don't put that title on him because he hasn't won more Super Bowls, but we essentially say he's the greatest we've ever seen to do it. And so we're nitpicking. And I'm saying I think sometimes he needs to let the offense work for him rather than always trying to make the hardest play.
I just think Bucky Brooks, a very nice job to get your name out there and get people talking. And I respect his football knowledge.
The last 2 years,
I respect his football knowledge, but overrated is not the right word.
Starter, it's not like we just say Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback today. We say he's the best we've ever seen.
They just had a poll of all the executives. Did you read it in the Athletic? You were on vacation. And he was ranked number 1. This was just the
That's
50.
what prompted Bucky.
No,
to
I know
drop
that.
This
I know.
article.
So you mean to tell me that people who are in the league, they don't think they're misguided from what they're seeing?
The last 2 years, he's 10, 12, and 1 as a starter.
It's not just about the record, Chris.
But it's somewhat about the record.
That's the only thing you have.
More? No, I've got his passer rating. I told you, Tom Brady, as much as you hate on Tom Brady, statistically, at 41 years old, had a better season last year than Aaron Rodgers.
You just said, you named records. They're all old. He just set the record in 2018.
Yeah, for lowest interceptions. I told you, he's throwing the ball out of bounds rather than throwing it in the coverage.
He should throw it in the coverage? Is that what he should do?
As great as he is?
Come on,
Rob,
stop.
what I'm saying is this. What I'm saying is this. We don't call him the best quarterback in the league. We call him the best we've ever seen.
He is the best guy I've ever seen.
I got to see more. It's up for debate.
Just tell me the guy you've seen who can do everything that he can do, Chris. I want to
Is he
hear
the
who's
GOAT?
the best.
Is he
I'm
the
asking
GOAT?
you
Who's the best quarterback we've ever seen?
The GOAT factor's in a lot of
Brady.
stuff. Tom Brady
Brady's
is not
the best quarterback we've ever seen.
Tom Brady is not the best quarterback you've ever
then
seen.
what
That's
do
why
we call him the GOAT?
That's why he was drafted 6th, because even when he was at Michigan, 6th round.
That's old,
no,
man. You
I'm
really
telling
going
you.
there?
And he went 10 years without
got
winning.
6
Chris,
rings,
go.
man. How
Let's
long
go
is
look
Rodgers
at
gone?
Let's go look at the
How
10
long is Rodgers?
years.
When did they win it? 2010?
I want you to go back and tell me you were talking Tom Brady, the greatest I ever saw. He went 10 years without winning. Do you remember that? 10.
How many years has Rodgers gone? If you want to bring that up,
It's been 8 years, but I'm telling you, Brady
and
went
got
10
one
years.
Super Bowl.
But Brady went 10 years without winning.
Yeah, but he's made up for it.
Thank
That's
you.
for darn sure.
That's my point. And now
when
all
has
he's
he
doing
had a great receiver. He had Randy Moss
is
for a
dinking
year
and
and a
dunking.
half.
He dinks and dunks. Throw the ball to Sony Michel.
Well,
He
I
runs
wish
20 yards.
Rodgers would dink and dunk
He
a
don't
little
have
more.
he don't have a Sony Michel. That's the problem.
Rodgers doesn't?
No.
Oh, he's
never had a
around
running
him.
game.
I'd argue that for the most part, his receivers have been better than Brady's. Outside of Randy Moss.
Did
Look
they
at
win
what
that
Brady,
year?
Who's Brady's
Wait a
been
minute.
throwing
Didn't Brady?
Wes Welker.
Wes Welker's a good player
Chris
since
Hodges.
when? Hogan.
Who? He's what? Come on, man. You know this.
Bucky Brooks, man. Just wait till
I'm not going
Can it be
as far as
5:30?
Bucky,
Can it
but
be
I'm-
5:30
I'm
now?
not going as far as
8:30
Bucky,
Eastern.
but I am saying, Rob, that we call him the greatest of all time. I want to see him deliver this year. We've blamed Mike McCarthy. We've blamed the stagnant offense. We blame there's not enough motion and all that stuff. This year, you got a coach who wants to incorporate all that. Let it be. Let it happen. If Rodgers has a great season, I'll be the first to say, you know what? He is the greatest we've ever seen. But it's been a few years now of not the greatest play we've ever seen at that position. That's all I'm saying. You got to admit that, Rob.
I could not disagree more. I'm telling you, I just think if you're honest with it, take a look at what this guy's done, what he's been able to do. And all I'm saying,
that stuff you said other than
I just gave you
old news.
No, it ain't. To have the greatest
Talking
quarter,
about Brady
the greatest,
went 10 years without a Super Bowl.
He didn't. Go look it up. You want to look it up? He went 10 years without winning.
But Rodgers gone 8, and he's got one the great Brady.
I'm
6.
talking about you can talk all you want. Ain't nobody, and you heard me, ain't nobody with the greatest quarterback rating in the history of the league is overrated. That don't even make sense. So Bucky Brooks could look at his couple.
Rated? He's rated as the best we've ever seen.
No, but I'm talking about he has the best quarterback rating of all time.
That doesn't mean you're the best.
No,
you got the best
but you
quarterback
can't.
rating.
But you can't be overrated.
Is it that simple?
But you can't be overrated. Is what I'm trying to tell you.
You can be.
No, you
if
can't.
If everybody's saying
That's the
you're the best
measuring
we've ever
stick.
seen play the position,
And he measures up. If I say he's the best, and then you go, he has the best quarterback rating, it measures up. It matches.
nah, it's more than
yes.
that. You know that. It's more than that one thing. The intangibles.
Overrated
Does
is
he
not.
bring the
Come on.
intangibles?
Overrated is
That's
a ridiculous
big as a quarterback. It's not just strongest arm. It's not just who can make all the throws. It's the intangibles. And that's where, I'm not going to say he's lacking all of them, but he doesn't stack up with Montana and Brady and those guys when it comes to the intangibles.
I hope Bucky Brooks doesn't want to be a GM because he officially lost any chance of that job.
Well, he's ready. He'll be here in about 15 minutes.
Can't wait.
All right, let's let the listeners weigh in.
All right, let's start with Craig in Maine. You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Craig?
Hey, guys, thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
All right, the reason he's overrated is because he doesn't win. He does not have any comeback signature wins, overtime wins in his whole career, maybe one or two. He doesn't care about winning. And
Craig,
like you said, Tom Brady, 10 years, he only had over 120 wins, not including playoffs. So winning does matter, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, but what do you talk? What do you mean he doesn't
those
care?
Are facts, Rob.
Those have nothing to do with whether or not you're a good quarterback. Overrated is not the right word. Is what my point.
But Rob, we rate him as number 1.
He is.
So if he's not,
he is.
Why didn't he win more? Why isn't his completion percentage higher?
Tom Brady's coming off a Super Bowl, and all
you gonna diss Tom Brady?
And the executives in the league picked Aaron Rodgers over him.
Years old.
No, because he's not as good.
Rodgers
he just
should be
won a
better.
Super Bowl with no touchdowns. Did you watch it? Did you watch the Super Bowl? He looked like a 41-year-old
Give me
tin
a
man.
Super Bowl with no touchdown.
Yeah,
That's
of course.
fine.
Sony Michelle.
I still get the ring.
Sony Michelle, absolutely.
Stop it.
Brian,
Stop it.
Brian in San Diego, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Brian?
What's going on, guys? Love the show. Welcome back from your hiatus there, Chris.
Thank you, my man.
Hey,
Now,
I gotta
put this on Rob. I know you got knowledge here.
Hey, I love you to death, Chris, but I'm gonna have to disagree with you on this one, man. He is not overrated. In the last 10 years, who was his leading rusher? In the last 2 years,
they can't name it. They can't.
Yeah, he hadn't had a great running game. I'll give you that.
Okay.
Has Brady?
At what time was they have a top 10 defense? At what time did they have a top 10 defense?
They haven't.
Exactly. Give me the name of his best wide receiver.
I can throw a bunch. Our guy, Greg Jennings.
No. I said his best wide receiver. I didn't say give me a list of who's played with him. I said give me his best wide receiver he's had.
Who's Brady's best wide receiver? Who's Brady's best wide receiver?
I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers.
I don't know. Who would you call his best?
That's my point. He hasn't had all the tools around him.
Neither has Brady.
What he's done.
Brady had Randy Moss. Stop it.
Yeah, and they didn't win. I'm talking Super Bowls.
No, I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers. Who was his best wide receiver?
That's weak. That's the best
that
argument
is not
you got.
Weak. The man
and
all
I'm saying, look, I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers isn't an all-time great. I'm just saying I want to see something this year for us to keep calling him the best we've ever seen. That's all I'm saying.
It's the most ridiculous thing to say the guy with the best quarterback rating in the history of the league.
That's all
is
you're hanging your hat on,
and that's my point.
And
the man has had a wide receiver
so
as his running back the last
quarterback
exactly, and you can't even nobody can even name those players.
It all boils down to quarterback rating.
And the same thing. No, it's not only that, but that's a big part of it.
That's all you keep going to?
Jabril, you're in Atlanta. You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio.
Yeah, Chris Rob got you today.
No doubt. Go ahead, tell him.
He got you today. Even Tom Brady said it out his own mouth that he think Aaron Rodgers is better than him.
He knows he's being nice.
You don't be nice in the NFL.
Rodgers is a better individual. I'll give you that.
He said if
he's a better individual player, but who's the GOAT?
Tell him what he said.
Is Rodgers?
No, go ahead.
He won. Tom Brady won the most, but look at the system he in. And every time he won, picks or better defense. Every time.
What about the intangibles?
And Jabril, what did he say? If Aaron Rodgers would play with the Patriots, they would have won 10 Super Bowls.
It's that system. Look how quick they set the plays up for Tom Brady to get it out of his
What about
hand.
the players he's got? Huh? What about that? The receivers that Brady throws to. Julian Edelman.
Randy Moss, they were undefeated. They had Randy Moss.
He set up.
Yeah, Moss. That was the first time. That's when I first started thinking he was the GOAT, because I was like, wow, give him a receiver, a great receiver,
and
it's
he
lights
ain't
out.
even the GOAT. He ain't even the GOAT. He just gets lucky a lot.
There you go. Jabril, thank you. Thank you very much.
Cousin, man?
That ain't my cousin.
Stop texting people.
Marty in Kentucky, you're the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What you got, Marty?
What's up, fellas? Welcome back, Chris. We had fun while you were gone. It's kind of like the teacher was away.
That's right.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
I do agree with Rob about Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I don't agree with Rob on his opinions of Brady, but I do think Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in the game right now. I know the last 2 years have been a little slow, but he has been banged up, and it hasn't been his fault. These injuries he's gotten has been failure at the line. It hasn't been because he's been holding on to the ball too long. They just got offensive line issues there, and he's been banged up the last couple of years, but I've never seen one greater. And in football, I just don't measure everything on wins when it takes so much, a system and so many different positions. I don't, Dan Marino is better than Eli Manning, but Dan Marino is not.
And he never won. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a great point, Marty. Dan Marino was better. And he didn't win.
He's better than Eli Manning.
No, but Eli won two Super Bowls. Or Eli won 2 Super Bowls. It ain't just about winning. You used the 6 Super Bowls for Tom Brady, and he's saying even though Eli won 2,
Eli doesn't have the individual
numbers.
Yes, but
Eli won twice, won 2 MVPs.
Yeah, but he doesn't. His regular seasons have been mediocre at best.
But he ain't better. I'm just saying.
No, of course he's not. But I'm not just using that. What I'm saying is this. I think LaFleur, now maybe LaFleur isn't all that. We'll see. But he wants to put in a system to make things easier for Rodgers and I want to see a big year from him because I like him. I'm not going as far as Bucky, but I'm just saying maybe we might need to reconsider this greatest we've ever seen do it at the position. That's all the brother's saying. All right, we usually save this kind of stuff for the hot seat, but I think it's about to get crazy up in here. The man that called Bucky Brooks overrated, or I'm sorry, Aaron Rodgers overrated, Bucky Brooks, is about to join the Odd Couple next. But first, let's bring in our man David Gascon for what is trending.
Man, you guys all right?
I know, you know
it's
it.
It's going to be fire.
It's only day one back together. You know how it is.
But I got to help Chris out here for a second because you said that Brady passed for under 200 yards in the Super Bowl.
Well, Rob said that.
Yeah, Rob said that.
Rob always
That's
says that.
Inaccurate. He passed for 262 in the Super Bowl.
Oh, was it 262?
Yeah, that was against a Wade Phillips defense, too, by the way. Give him some freaking credit.
How many touchdowns did he have?
Who cares? He won the Super Bowl.
How many fumbles
like
did he
Rob
have?
just acts like that doesn't
How many
matter.
fumbles did he have?
It doesn't matter.
Tom Brady's won two Super Bowls with a total of one touchdown.
Tom Brady won
two
Super
Super Bowls.
Six
You-
Super
No,
Bowls.
two with a total of one.
So what?
Tom Brady won a Super Bowl passing for 145 yards in a game. That was against the St. Louis Rams.
No, I know that. That's what I'm saying.
Look,
So who cares?
Physically, there's no comparison.
Get the
No
W,
comparison.
Rob Parker. Get the
But
W, man.
intangibles, Brady, that's where he tops.
You know what they
Rodgers.
say? You know what they bring up
that's
intangibles?
important.
That's when he don't have the numbers that you can look at. So you
No,
gotta come
Brady
up.
does have some numbers for
but
you,
he
too.
got he done it. He done that. He do this.
You
That
know, Rob,
stuff you can't see.
intangibles
Wait, we
are
got a
important.
guest coming.
That's right. You guys
Go
go
ahead.
Montana the best physically?
You guys go to your
It
corners
was
real quick.
intangibles. Woo! It's going to get heated up in here. Bucky Brooks, NFL Network, and FS1 NFL analyst, author of the story that said Aaron Rodgers is overrated and not a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Bucky, I'm warning you, Rob has got a lot of heat coming your way, but I want to ask you first and foremost, explain to the people why you say Aaron Rodgers is overrated.
Oh, well, like, Chris, whenever you do the evaluation, you have to do it based on where people are at the moment. And based on how Aaron Rodgers has played of late, he hasn't been one of the best quarterbacks in football in terms of the number one quarterback like he was ranked in Mike Sando's article. You go back to 2015, Week 8. Since that point, he's 24-1 as a starting quarterback. He's only completing 62% of his passes. He has a passer rating of 96. And he's coming off a season where he had 25 touchdown passes, which was tied for 12th. His completion percentage was in the middle of the pack. He didn't play like the number one player in his position, so I'm not one to just give away grades. So I'm not going to just say, hey, he's the number one overall player of the position when he hasn't played like that.
So it's funny is that the Athletic came out with a poll from 55 executives who placed him number one, even though he's coming off, as you said, like a year where maybe they weren't as good, and I know he's been injured the last couple of years. You don't factor any of that stuff in when you think about a guy. This is the only problem I have. When you say he's overrated, you're saying he's overrated for this year or in general?
I'm saying right now this year. He's not the best quarterback heading into the year. Heading into the year, I don't think you can rank him ahead of Pat Mahomes. I don't think he had a better year. I don't think he's the number one.
So it's just based off of 1 year. So when RG3 had his 1 year,
he said it's based till 2015, right?
But I'm just saying when you look at the last couple of years. So how can a guy who has the best quarterback rating in the history of the league? When you use the term, if you want to tell me he's on the downside or you never think he might be back to where he was or the injuries have taken a toll, Bucky, I could buy all that. I respect your football knowledge. But to use the term overrated with a guy who has the best quarterback rating in the history of the National Football League, a guy who's won 2 MVPs, a guy who has the best touchdown to interception ratio, a guy who holds eight records.
Jacket, Rob.
All those things. He is going to be in the Hall of Fame and who's won a Super Bowl, 2-time MVP. We can go all over. Overrated is not a correct word to use in your analysis. I totally disagree. You could say he's slipping, getting older. He's got a lot to prove, but overrated? No way.
Bucky, I agree with you. I think we rate him as most people say he's the best they've ever seen do it. You know, they don't call him the GOAT because he hasn't won as much, but the best he's ever done. And I'm saying I'm with you on that. I don't go quite as far as you, but I'm with you on, look, I got to see more if we're going to keep saying he's the best we've ever seen play the position.
No, and I'm not even talking about the best we've seen. Look, I can say, look, he's the most talented. He may be the most talented quarterback that we have, but in terms of playing the best, he's not playing his best football. He's not playing the best of anybody at the position. How can we sit here and say that based on what he did last year, he's playing better than some of the quarterbacks that were listed? Drew Brees led the league with an NFL record completion
Did you watch Drew Brees in the playoff game? Did you watch him?
It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. He couldn't even throw the football. Yeah, like LeBron wasn't in the playoffs either, right? So LeBron shouldn't be considered a great player, Chris, according to you.
Are you saying LeBron?
Chris
is LeBron the best player?
No, he's not.
LeBron the best player?
But Chris just said because he's not. No, he's not.
Bucky went back to 2015.
My point is,
you want to go back there?
No,
with LeBron?
Chris. My point is, you just said you just used as argument that Aaron didn't play in the playoffs, but LeBron wasn't in the playoffs. That's all I'm trying to tell you. You can't have it both ways.
Bucky, let me ask you this: how much? Because Rob and I were debating this. You know, his winning, he's under 500 in the last 2 years. As you said, he's at 500 the last, 3.5 years. How much of that, though, we know their defense has been shaky at best. How much of that should you not put on Rodgers, because of the defense?
See, I can't give him the pass. Like, everybody wants to give him the pass. Oh, he doesn't have the coaching. Oh, he doesn't have the wide receivers. Oh, his defense isn't. Well, at some point, why are we paying him $30 million? We're paying him $30 million to make all that stuff correct, right? I see Tom Brady do it. They have anybody. They have me, you, and Rob out there playing wide receiver, and they still win games. At some point, if you're what you say you are, don't you have to elevate it? So what I'm saying right now, Aaron Rodgers is Russell Westbrook. So he's talented, but they ain't winning.
You're Bucky, stop. Bucky, I can't even let you say that. Because
no,
Bucky, stop.
Westbrook has records, Rob.
You know what he doesn't have? He didn't win a damn championship. So Bucky, you sound crazy.
No, Bucky, you sound very logical.
You sound crazy. You can't match a guy up who never won a championship. You're crazy with that. All right, hey Bucky, you're not trying to be a general manager of an NFL team, are you? Is that in your future? Because your evaluation of talent is terrible. I wouldn't hire you. I wouldn't hire you.
How long are we gonna keep eating off this one Super Bowl? The Super Bowl was 10 years ago.
Thank you.
Is it a lifetime pass?
Hey, Bucky Brooks.
How long are we gonna talk about
Bucky Brooks, how many years did Tom Brady go between winning championships? I want you to give me the number. No, I want you. No,
I don't know.
Bucky Brooks, answer my damn question.
That's a terrible argument,
No, Chris,
Rob.
be quiet.
He's got
Turn
6.
up Chris's mic.
Stop
I want to talk to Bucky Brooks. Bucky Brooks, I want you to answer me. How many years did Tom Brady go between winning Super Bowls? That's all I want you to give me.
So when they won 3 out of 4 early, then it was probably like a 8 or 9 year gap.
It was 10 years.
All right, so
it was a decade.
Rodgers, Rob,
it
when
was
Rodgers
a decade.
Wins 5, he's gonna win 5
it
from
was
this point
a
on.
decade. Bucky
Brooks,
stop it.
Let me ask you this, Bucky. I like Aaron Rodgers. I really do. But I'm starting to wonder. I'm starting to think that his ad-libbing, his refusal to kind of make the easy pass, all of that, plus the intangibles, that's what's lacking from him. Is that a fair assessment?
That is a fair assessment. See, like, Rob is emotionally and in his feelings right now. When I'm talking about Russell Westbrook, that's what I'm talking about. Great. Does all the things that you love to see.
Russell Westbrook never won, Bucky. Stop it. Stop it. He's never won anything. It's not the same.
Rob, let him finish.
At some point, he has to be able to play within the combine. He didn't like the coach. So you saw in those stories where he talked about waving off the plays from the coach, doing his own thing, wants the audible. Like, we talk about, maybe he didn't have the best coach. Maybe he's not coachable in that vein. I'm just saying, like, we're giving him a pass and just saying, hey, he's the best at the position without critically thinking, you know what? Is he really the best? Let's go back and look through the numbers. Let's look at the performance. And the performance is right there for you. The sample size is not short. 24-24-1, 500. I mean, at some point, don't you have to win games? You're the quarterback. We judge quarterbacks on wins and rings. He has one ring, and he hasn't won a ton of games. I just don't know how you can say he's number one overall and not challenge it.
I think that's a mic drop.
That ain't no mic drop. I think that's the worst analysis I've ever heard
Excellent
on football.
stuff, Bucky Brooks.
Thanks, Bucky Brooks.
Excellent stuff.
Thank you. You and
And when
Chris.
you get that
thanks for having
GM
me.
job,
Right.
we want to be the first show that you appear
You know
on.
what? Hey, Bucky, when you get your GM job at the XFL, call us. Maybe we'll put you on. Because that's where you belong with that stuff.
All right, Bucky,
Rob.
thanks, man. We
You're all right.
appreciate it, brother.